Since one thing I've been doing in these videos lately is showing you guys different houses that I see for sale as I'm walking by them. And just coincidentally, today, where I parked my car, I ended up right next to this listing, and it's actually not for sale anymore. This house recently just sold, guys. It just sold a few days ago, end of June 22nd, I believe, for $1.5 million. Let me show you this house. So $1.5 million on the market for 2 months. They started the listing at 1.575, so the buyer got a $75,000 discount on this house. And get this, the last time this house sold was in 1996 for $155,000. Now, that's absolutely crazy. You know, the person who bought this house back in 96 absolutely just made a killing. You know, they made a fortune based on that old purchase price and how much somebody paid for that house. They'll probably never have to work again. I don't know what they're doing with the money, but this just leads right into my first story of today's video, which is home sellers are starting to get bombarded, okay, by real estate agents who are getting desperate to make deals because of the current situation. You know, we have a lot of buyers that are dropping out of the market because of the high interest rates, and then sellers are, you know, really not having many incentives to move right now. And so actually, this is the perfect time for me to share with you guys that I actually just got a letter in the mail last week from Open Door, a company that looks like it's practically going out of business if you look at their share price right now. But they've sent me a letter in the mail, you know, even though I just bought my condo a few months ago, and they're trying to buy it from me already. So those guys are getting desperate. You know, these big institutional buyers are getting desperate for deals because they're drying up, and this is how they make their money, right? Without these deals, without being able to purchase these homes, they're going to go out of business. And so I think that's a great thing. I hope they do go out of business, especially since they're a big part of the housing crisis that we have right now. So to me, that's good news that these guys are starting to squirm a little bit. It's not just Open Door that's getting desperate, you know, real estate agents are getting desperate too. There was an article the other day in the Palm Beach Post about how desperate real estate agents are getting to try to find deals in the area. You know, they have high net worth clients looking to buy in the area, you know, $10 million, $30 million homes. And even with that budget, they can't seem to find a home that fits all the criteria that these high net worth buyers want, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, when you have that kind of cash and there's no homes on the market that kind of fit your criteria. So that just goes to show you how crazy things are right now in the housing market. It goes on to say in this article that this real estate agent over there, he called 300 different homeowners in the area and actually finally got one willing to sell because he was thinking about selling anyways. So obviously this real estate agent got really lucky. He made the sale for $10.7 million. Now obviously he had to work his ass off for that sale. You know, calling 300 different homeowners is no easy task. You know, when I first started my real estate career, I used to do the cold calls and stuff like that. It sucks, guys. You know, it's hard to get in touch with people. They hang up on you, all kinds of things like that. I don't do anything like that anymore. You know, now I just do a few deals here and there throughout the year as I see fit. But I'd much rather be out here making videos for you guys. But by doing a few deals a year, it allows me to still make some money and you know, stay in touch with what's happening out there in the market, which is super important. The thing is, if you are a homeowner right now, you need to be on high alert. And the reason why I say that is not necessarily because of real estate agents. Yes, you're going to be getting a lot of calls from real estate agents probably for the rest of the year trying to solicit you to sell your house. So there's that. But also you got to be aware of scammers because you don't know how many of these people are actually real estate agents. And scammers are very good at, you know, picking up on these type of things and looking out for people in desperation, basically, you know. And obviously, if you haven't listed your house for sale and you're being contacted, then you're not in desperate need to sell your home. But the thing is, you just got to be aware of these type of things. I mean, you could get a letter in the mail that looks like it's from Open Door, for example, and it could be from some shady company, and you go to their website and they want you to punch in all of your personal data. Next thing you know, bam, they got you. Or the same thing can happen over a phone call. Oh, you're interested in selling your house? We just need your social security number and a few other really important data points so we can get all your information and we'll get back to you. So just be careful, because now that the recession's here, scams will be on the rise, guys. So just be on the lookout for that. There's another one for sale right over here. I don't have the listing info for this one, but I'll be sure to put it up unless they have it down here in the box. Let's see. This one, 1.8 million they're asking for this house. So the other house is literally just one block behind. This house is actually smaller than that house, 1,610 square feet. The one that we just looked at the beginning of the video was 1,750 square feet. So I'll put up the whole listing on the screen so you guys can see what's the deal with this house. But just by looking at the flyer, it seems like this house is way overpriced, because the one just one block behind there, bigger than that one, sold for 1.5. These guys want 1.8. So I don't know what's so much more special about this house, and it's smaller on top of that. We see this all the time here in Miami. You guys saw in my last video of just how expensive some of those homes were for rent and for sale in the area, and they're not getting it, guys. They're not getting those prices. They're not getting anywhere near those prices. Now, this is not a new problem with Miami. This has been going on for years, ever since I started in the business, and it will probably always happen here. People consistently overprice their homes here in Miami just to see what they can get for it. And I even saw a new construction property yesterday when I was looking through the MLS, listed for 3.3 million. Not that much more than this old house we saw for sale that was 2.7, and it still hasn't sold. So, and it's been a year, by the way. On the market for a year at that price, no one's touching it. I'm over here in Surfside today, and I wanted to quickly show you guys some of the beauty of the view over here. Check this out. Now, speaking of real estate games and shenanigans, I want to touch on something that's important to cover right now. And it kind of goes back to making sure you don't get taken advantage of. And this applies to home buyers, guys. Because when I was looking through the MLS, I was just looking to see what's new out there and, which type of listings have the lowest price per square foot right now and things like that. But you think you're buying a place that has the best deal when you find something that has the lowest price per square foot, right? Well, not always, because as I was doing this search, I kept finding basically one ridiculous scam listing after another, and I'll give you guys some examples here, some things to watch out for. So there was this one-bedroom condo for sale in South Beach. They want 250 grand. It's an approved short sale, okay? So that means the bank has already decided they will take $250,000 for that listing because the borrower is underwater on the home. So I look up the tax roll and see how much they paid for it. Well, it turns out they only paid $165K for the place back in 2002. How could this person be underwater? Glad you asked. Well, they probably took out a bunch of lines of credit or home equity loans against the property and couldn't pay it, living high on the hog off their appreciation that they got since 2002, thinking that it's just going to last forever. And lo and behold, it's not lasting forever. And to top it off, this place is in horrible condition, okay? The AC units are window units. They belong to the tenant. So whenever the tenant leaves, there's going to be no air conditioning units there. The building is severely underinsured and has no reserves. So you have to pay cash on top of that. You can't get financing for something like this. Doesn't that sound like a gem? Doesn't that sound like something that anybody be willing to just jump in and buy right now? I mean, gosh, guys, what a deal, huh? Check this out. They got another gut job going on right over here. You can see it. They're completely tearing this place apart and renovating. That's usually the formula for houses in this area. They'll usually start doing stuff like that. The next one I saw is a great example of how real estate agents can play games with the pricing on properties. So this place was a 2-bedroom condo, okay? They listed it for $305,000 initially. Actually, they listed it for $302,000 initially. And They listed it 45 days ago, and then they quickly raised the price after just a couple of days to $310,000. So they raised the price $8,000. Probably got a couple of offers, you know, right at the beginning. Decided, you know, maybe we can get a little bit more, so let's raise the price and, you know, reject these offers. So those buyers pulled out, didn't buy the place, and now it's been 45 days and they lowered the price back to $305K and no takers. Let me just tell you guys, if you are gonna hire a real estate agent right now in times like this, you gotta watch out for people like this that have no clue what they're doing. This strategy to me is terrible. You know, I've never done that with a listing ever in my entire career, where you take a listing, price it low, and try to see the maximum bids you can get and then quickly raise the price. This seems to be like the new thing people are doing in this hot market, and it might be able to work in markets that are really hot, but like here in Miami, where prices are already at the peak, you know, more than what people are really willing to pay, it doesn't work. And now the home seller's suffering because their agent's an idiot, okay? So you really got to watch out for stupid behavior like this from your real estate agent. If they come to you and say, this is my strategy, we're going to price the property low, try to get a bunch of bids, and then we'll raise the price to see, you know, where the offers came in at, a little bit above there. Don't do it, okay? Don't be greedy, because right now there's more and more listings hitting the market little by little, inventory's going up. The greedier you get right now, the less likely you are going to be to sell. Now that applies in all times, especially it applies right now when interest rates are, you know, well over 6% for most people, and you're having buyers just not be interested in buying your property. So if you can get a fair price for it, you know, even right now, I would recommend people listing slightly below market value, you know, at least 5%. A little bit below market value, and you know, you'll probably get some offers that are maybe even above what you're asking, and you take the best one. Don't be greedy. You know, playing games like this just costs the seller money and time, and ultimately you may end up firing that real estate agent because they might not even sell the property for you. So there's that to watch out for. Now the next one is not really a new type of real estate scam, but it's definitely something we see a lot of nowadays. And basically what it is this whatever condo, 2-bedroom condo. It's on the rooftop of this commercial building. So literally your front door is on the roof of this building. How attractive, right? Imagine the heat right now in, you know, 105-degree Miami heat walking into your house every day. So this guy bought this condo for $165,000 just a year ago, July 2021. And now he's got it for sale for like $305,000, thinking he's gonna double his money in 1 year. And of course, it hasn't sold yet, and it probably never will, especially at this price. So you gotta watch out for stuff like that too, guys. Always make sure that you check when the property last sold for and for how much when you're making an offer on something, because I know some of you are still gonna buy no matter what's going on. And these are things I'm telling you just to protect yourself and to be aware of the potential value of the property you're purchasing, because there's no way that this condo that was worth $165,000 a year ago is all of a sudden worth $305K. All right, so keep that in mind. It's very important to watch these type of things when you're out there looking to buy a home right now. Zillow keeps downgrading their housing market forecast, which is no surprise, because now that we're basically in a recession, they're saying that the latest forecast going forward for the rest of the year is that home prices are going to appreciate 8.8% versus the 10.4% that they previously noted. Now, I don't know what's going to happen exactly, and the biggest issue with these type of predictions is that they're looking at the entire US housing market as a whole. And as we've talked about right here before on the channel, is that real estate can be very local to where you're looking at buying or selling, and you might not see appreciation at all this year. You might see prices go down, which a lot of markets are seeing. So it just depends, guys. And as their housing market prediction becomes bleaker and bleaker, then that's a sign to me that the overall trend, people are starting to wake up and realize that the real estate party is over. Even home buyers, because there's a story that I want to go over with you guys, because the advice that this article is giving people is that they're saying if you were in the market last year to buy a $500,000 house, which still a lot of people can't even afford that, but say you can, and you have a $100,000 down payment, your monthly would have been $1,686 a month with the 3% interest rate. Okay, fast forward to today, they're saying that payment is $2,147, but in fact it's actually higher because that's based on a 5% rate, which is a joke. Nobody's getting 5% right now. Okay, most of the rates you're getting are in the mid sixes for a lot of people, for decent credit, whatever. Here's another one for sale. I've been thinking about planning these out and like actually purposely finding homes for you guys, but so far I haven't even needed to do that. I just happened to come across these places as I'm walking by, and looks like a really tiny house, probably well over $1 million. I'll put up the listing for you. And it's just nuts because this neighborhood, all these houses like we just passed by, like that one there, like back in 2012, 2013, for example, back in those days, these houses would have been selling for $350,000, $400,000 all day long. And now they're all well over $1 million in many cases. So it's just absolutely crazy. In 10 years, that's the type of appreciation you're looking at. And not to mention the property taxes people are going to be paying on houses like this, and the insurance too. But one of the things that this article is telling people to do is to try to find creative ways to get your interest rate down. That can include buying it down, you know, by basically paying points up front. And the example they give in the article is it could take roughly 6 years to break even if you're paying, you know, 30, 40 grand in points to buy down your interest rate, which can make sense. If you're going to be holding the property for a long time, I would say that's probably the one piece of sound advice this article gives, because even though it costs more up front, if you are planning on keeping the house for a long time and you're going to be able to buy your interest rate down to a reasonable level and it lowers your monthly, then that's not such a bad idea. I bought my rate down a little bit. I think I had to pay an additional 15 grand or so, and it ended up being worth it because it lowered my monthly payment by like 300 bucks, guys. So it just depends. You got to assess these things when you're looking at buying a house right now. There was another article from the New York Times talking about how more and more homeowners are selling now, basically at the peak of the market, and becoming renters, and basically having the strategy of waiting it out until prices get normalized again and we get back to something that looks like a buyer's market. So they're going to sell high, rent for now, and wait for home prices to correct. And it's funny because in the article, you know, there's always going to be the naysayers who say this is a bad idea. You know, you're assuming that home prices are going to go down, and I have seen some comments like this as well, that some of you guys out there feel like this. But you know, these guys aren't stupid. These guys are longtime homeowners. Most of these people are in their 50s, 60s, 70s who are doing this right now. There was this one guy, he bought his house for $750K in 2019. And then in April this year, he was able to sell that house for $1.365 million, guys. So this guy made over $500K in the span of 3 years. And now he downsized because the house was 3,000 square feet, and he's living in a 2,000 square foot condo, paying only $2,200 a month right now in rent. Now, to me, that is a very smart idea. Now, obviously, nobody knows when exactly it's going to become a buyer's market again. Nobody can predict that. But it's not like this guy is the only one doing this. You know, there's other people who are doing the same thing and selling their homes at record prices and then banking the cash and downsizing and paying a very low amount in rent, probably lower than they were paying in their home, which to me is a fantastic idea right now, because it's not like it's never going to be a buyer's market again. Sure, it could take a few years, but with the amount of money you're making, who cares? I don't know if this is too much for you guys, but there's literally 2 more houses for sale right next to each other here in Surfside. There's actually a lot of inventory here. A lot of people trying to capitalize, just like we were just talking about, these home sellers, you know? There's one here, and there's literally the house right next door is for sale as well. So I would imagine these people are trying to do the same thing as the guy I just mentioned right now, if they're smart anyhow, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna sell these houses for these record prices and then bank that cash, you know, rent somewhere cheaper. You're gonna have to sacrifice for a little while and then enter the market again when things are more normalized. Now, I think that's a fantastic idea. There's always gonna be the opposite argument saying that prices aren't gonna come down, because that's what all the experts are saying. They're saying that, you know, no matter what happens, this market's strong, we don't have the subprime lending, blah, 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 blah. But these guys weren't born yesterday, okay? These are, you know, baby boomers who have seen multiple housing markets go down, and these guys are basically betting on the fact that homes are going to be cheaper over the next few years than they are right now. And I agree with them, okay? I think it's probably a smart move to do that right now. And with these rising interest rates, it just has to push home prices down, guys. I feel like that's one of the main factors right now we're looking at that's going to push prices down, as well as the recession. So those two things combined are most certainly going to push prices down. We just don't know by how much, and obviously every area is going to be different. And also, part of that strategy is a couple of these people interviewed in the article plan on, when they do re-enter the market, buying something like a townhouse, you know, something still smaller, because as you get older and more into retirement age, people don't want the upkeep and the maintenance of a big single family home. And if you buy something like a townhome or a condo, where a lot of that maintenance is done for you, not only is the place cheaper, but it also saves you a lot of time and effort just taking care of the yard and the house and things like that. So to me, these guys are playing it really smart right now and taking advantage of the market while they can. And I don't see anything wrong with that. But let me know what you guys think. Would you do that if you're in the position right now to make a fortune off your property? Would you consider taking the chance that you could actually re-enter the market later on, a couple years down the road when things are cheaper? What do you think? Now, a little bit of relief coming for people who own a house in Florida, especially when it comes to insurance, because the Florida legislature just turned down a bill that is requesting a full rate hike from Citizens, who's the, you know, basically the insurer here in Florida of last resort. And Citizens is who gives you insurance in case you can't get insurance through any other carrier. And so the legislator denied their full rate hike request. So luckily, they're starting to do something about this insurance debacle that we're going through here. Some homeowners by next year are even going to see a decrease in their rates, so long as the litigation starts to decrease as well. So that's some good news. But just to put that into perspective, for anybody who saw my insurance video like a week ago, Floridians actually pay the highest homeowners insurance premium in the entire country, guys. Our average homeowners insurance premium here in Florida is $4,231 a year, compared to the national average at just $1,544 a year. So it's a massive difference if you want to buy a house here in Florida of just how much it's going to cost you. So keep that in mind. I just warned people in that video, so go check that out. If you're interested in buying in Florida, you're going to want to know these things for sure. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and check out my next video on the screen right over here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.